Most of us are familiar with Bitmojis. They are cartoon representations of you, which is great for making presentations like this. But wouldn't it be great if they could talk? Sadly, they don't. But you can make it happen with a little movie magic. To make my Bitmojis appear to talk, I use PowerPoint, some type of screencasting software, and a video editing tool. I typically start with a script and identify the Bitmojis I need. In this example, I was working in a collaborative Google Doc set up with a table. I copy and paste the Bitmojis I need for my Chrome extension into PowerPoint. Then, I proceed to manipulate the mouth so that it appears to open and close between slides. I then copy and paste those two slides, the one with a closed mouth and the one with an open mouth, until I have enough to cover the amount of dialogue. So let me show you how that's done. I need this Bitmoji to appear to talk. As you can see, the default mouth is in an open position. I need to duplicate this slide and give it a closed mouth. As I typically start with a closed mouth, I'll work in the first slide in this series. I'll need to cover up this open mouth before we get started. So to do that, I usually do insert and a shape. So I usually choose this oval shape, and I sort of try and get as much as I can without not covering up the cheekbone or the nose too much. Now, the reason why I do this in PowerPoint as opposed to Google Slides, which you can do this in Google Slides, is because of this shape fill eyedropper. It is so much easier to use than an eyedropper Chrome extension, which is why I choose to use PowerPoint. However, please note that you can do it in Google Slides. So here I'm going to click on the eyedropper tool. I'm going to select this color. It's going to fill in the oval. It defaults with an outline shape, so you're just going to click on outline shape and say no outline. And you can duplicate it so you can see. So I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut of Control D, and that'll give me an exact duplicate of that circle. So now I can finesse it to cover up the rest of this mouth. As you can see, it's not really a great job right here. I'm going to click on that oval right there, and I can use the keyboard shortcut of Control and the arrow keys kind of up and down to sort of move it a little bit incrementally, so I'm not making a large jump with it. If you're doing this in Google Slides, you would use Shift and the arrow key. Once you have the mouth covered up like I do, you may want to group these items together, because if you were to move it, so right here you're going to see me move it, the circles do not travel. So I'm going to hit undo. I'm going to hold down the Control button, and I'm going to make sure I have these items selected, right click, group, right there. So now if I move, they all move together. I now need to give this Bitmoji a closed mouth. So what I did is I looked through some of the other Bitmojis to find a Bitmoji that had a closed mouth. And when you do look through the Bitmojis, you want to make sure the Bitmojis are facing the right direction. Otherwise, it's sort of difficult to sort of manipulate the mouth. I've discovered that. So this Bitmoji is sort of facing the same direction this Bitmoji is. So the mouth is sort of right where it's supposed to be. So I have a couple options here. I can click on it and use the picture tool up here and use cropping. And I could crop everything out except for the mouth, like so. And I'm just going to kind of close out of this and hit undo. Or you can use a snipping tool. So my computer has a snipping tool right here. So I can say, give me a new snip, and I can now drag right across, and I have a closed mouth. So what I do over here is come over here to my slide. I'm going to paste the mouth in so you can see it right there. And then I'm going to sort of make it a little bit bigger, sort of match, and I can tweak it with this sort of rotating tool right here. And that's actually a pretty good spot right there. So I tested out. So this is my closed mouth and this is my open mouth. So that's actually not a bad match right there. So at this point, I need to duplicate it for as many times as the dialogue allows. So I usually just do it like 10 times, test out my dialogue and delete and add as needed. So what I do is I hold down Shift and I pick up slide, in this case, slide 21, 22. I'm just going to say copy, and then I'm just going to, I use the keyboard shortcut of Control V to paste. So I'm just going to paste these down till I get quite a few, and then I start practicing my dialogue. So in this case, the dialogue was with some movie magic. And I like to end on a closed mouth when I'm doing that. So that is how I get the mouth to open and close. Now I need to record my voice, which is where the screencasting software comes in. Now, last year I actually purchased the Solo Deluxe plan on Screencast-O-Matic. It was a 3-year deal for $36, which was a phenomenal amount. And I liked the screencasting software at the time because I could record a section of my screen instead of the entire screen. And it also recorded internal audio, which I really need in my job. So I'm going to show you what I do. Normally what I do is I resize the recording area. So right here, you're seeing everything in the recording area. I'm going to pause for a second and then zoom into an area. So here I've zoomed into one slide. I still see all the slides on the left-hand side, but it's only recording the area that I want. And I can then start my dialogue. So in this case, with some movie magic. I can save that clip to my computer and then add to it in some movie software. And in this case, I use WeVideo. So I have a subscription to WeVideo. We don't have a district subscription to this software, although it's really awesome. I think it's just really expensive. And I use it typically to stitch together small recordings, add music, do any editing that I need. But I could have used any editing software. That includes the Windows photo editor that comes on my computer. I also have the old version of Movie Maker as well. So please do not think that you need to go out and purchase WeVideo. You definitely can use any kind of video editing software that you're familiar with. So there you have it. Now go out there and give it a try.